So the Dallas Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy as their new head coach. My initial reaction was this: Mike McCarthy? And then after the dust settled, my reaction was a little different. Mike McCarthy! So besides my actual crazy reactions to Mike McCarthy being hired as the Cowboys head coach, I did a little digging and I wanted to look into if there was any videos or information on Mike McCarthy, and decided to go on YouTube. And I found an interview with him and Peter King, and I found that interview very intriguing. I listened to every single word. This is a 33-minute video, I think, and I watched it twice. And I think there's something to whenever there's a person in general, whenever they're looking for redemption, whenever they're looking for another opportunity, and it's different whenever you're experienced at a particular thing that you're really good at. And Mike McCarthy being that he was really good at being a football coach, and now he's looking for his new opportunity. And when I watched that interview, I took a few things from that interview, and it was a very natural thing of how he approached his firing from Green Bay and how he's going to approach moving forward as a head coach. And I wanted to share some of my thoughts with y'all about that. So let's get into it. So first off, whenever the video starts, it basically talks about what Mike McCarthy's been up to since he was fired. And what he was up to, it was pretty interesting. What he was doing is basically he took 3 coaches that are currently unemployed at his house, and at his house they created like this boot camp style of football study. You know what I'm saying? Studying football for 6 months and trying to dissect every single part of football to better prepare him in his next endeavor as a head coach, and even with interviews, which is pretty interesting. Like, it's kind of like a boxer whenever he goes to a different part of the world to go and train, and then, you know, when it's a week before the actual fight, they'll go to the place where they're going to have a fight at. It's kind of like what he did for 6 months. Buckle down there in Green Bay, study tape, study with other coaches that don't currently have jobs, and they had another, I guess like a tech guy, an analytical guy that got them all the footage or whatever, and they studied trends, they studied everything. So to let you know that this guy was literally dedicating his life to football for 6 months, solely on knowing the game and understanding the game even better than what he already did. That's pretty crazy, and that's dedication right there. Now, the next thing that I took from this interview is the following. So he was basically speaking on what he can improve on as a coach by looking at his criticisms and taking them and throwing it off with other coaches to see if they agree with those criticism. And he admits that he had to win away from some of his game plans in the second half of his career, but he didn't necessarily take it on the chin, saying he was his style of offense became stale towards the end of his career. But the fact that he was open to it, the fact that he was willing to ask other coaches about it, it tells you a lot about how you approach this. Now, I just want to add my personal side to this. And I think that whenever you're let go from something and you're good at something, right? I think there's something to a person's energy and wanting to redeem themselves and show and prove what they're capable of. So again, the fact that he was doing all this and trying to figure out certain things that he can improve on as a person to become even a better coach than he already was. And this guy is decorated as a head coach. It says a lot. It says a lot. Because when you have someone that has already won a Super Bowl and they're willing to adapt to change, right? Any successful person is always willing to adapt. If you don't adapt, you're going to get taken out like Blockbuster. You have to adapt. And the fact that he's open and willing to do that, it's going to tell us a lot about him moving forward and what we could potentially get as a Dallas Cowboys organization. Or as fans, because we're not an organization. But as fans, we could get a Super Bowl out of this. We got a great team, and he could probably maximize their potential. Mike McCarthy also speaks on the development of his coaches and the education of the game being one of the most important things to winning. And what saying that is, he was looking at it from a holistic perspective where everybody has to be educated to the T on this game The more people that are bought in and involved, and their high Q is similar as far as knowing the game and understanding the intricacies. He said that that's more important than having an amazing offensive game plan. He's basically talking about players, coaches, everybody all around being on the same page, understanding the game fully, and looking at it from a bigger picture versus I just need to have a great offensive game plan. Says a lot. And then when you think about it, his development of his staff, he is developing coaches to be even better coaches and putting them in positions to succeed. So he's looking at this from, I'm a good coach. I can make my coaches even better coaches. And by making my coaches better coaches, I can delegate these tasks to make my players even better players. And in turn, this entire team organization, we can all be better from this instead of being one of those coaches that are just kind of like head up their ass, thinks they know everything, and that's it. So to hear that from Mike McCarthy was pretty cool. And when you think of it as a coach, looking at it from that perspective, maybe there's tons of other coaches that look at it like this, but you never get Jason Garrett to speak like this on certain interviews. It's just, it's the process, blah, blah, blah. It's so boring. To hear a successful coach, a Super Bowl winning coach, talk like this and give you some insight on certain things like that, to me, it was pretty awesome. So then he was asked about analytics. And he says that analytics is a good thing, or that he'll use analytics, but not to just use it, but to know how to apply it in a game. So the good thing about it, he is open to looking into analytics and understanding it, but I understand and I actually agree with him that it's not just about knowing, if you run on this down, you get this percentage of success. Really, it's about knowing when to use that analytics, because sometimes that play might not be the right play at that time. But he said a lot of trust your instincts, trust your gut, trust your own IQ on how you approach the game. And so analytics is valuable, and I agree that it is valuable, but I also appreciate that he said that I would utilize analytics, but I have to apply the information the correct way. So it's not he's going to go gun-ho and just using analytics whenever on every single thing, but the fact that he is open to it, let's be happy about that. So now we got a coach that is happy about analytics. And there was one thing in his interview that I loved about it. He was asked this question, and in bold words, he literally said, I know how to build a world championship. It's enough for me. He said it. He said he knows how to build a world championship with no hesitation, full of confidence, bold words, like just straight up, and you bought into all right, he knows how to build a world championship. What Dallas Cowboys coach can say that? Only him right now. And there you go. That's why we have a good opportunity with Mike McCarthy. Still got one more thing to talk about. So Mike McCarthy stated that if you're going to call the offense on Sunday, that you need to be the main person installing that game plan during the week. So what he was basically saying is if you're going to call the game on Sunday, you need to be the main installer throughout the week. And you're basically not having too many hands in a basket kind of deal. He alluded that, when he started getting away from this is when certain things started not going his way. He didn't say that, but he alluded to it. And also added that this was part of his staff development, which was allowing him to call certain plays, to get involved in the game plan. And I think that was a pretty good approach if you're trying to develop your staff. I mean, I don't blame him for that. But the fact that he was able to acknowledge that. And again, whenever you're in a position where you've been let go of a spot that you've been holding down for several years, and now you're looking for another opportunity, and you're studying 6 months of what things that you could have done better, and studying the game better and understanding the game even more. And the fact that you're open enough to admit, like, hey, this is one thing that I could have improved. It's like a plan for himself on how he can improve as a coach. And who knows what he could come to Dallas and do with all the talent that we got. So the fact that he looks at things from a different perspective of development of staff, development of educating, players and coaches on the game, and knowing that he could have done this part of that process a lot better, lets you know about how he's thinking about the game, how he's going to move forward about the game, and things that he's going to implement in his offense. So I'm going to end this video by saying that I think this is a great hire by the Dallas Cowboys. Initially, I didn't know what to feel. I was half on board with this. I'm not going to get into why the Cowboys didn't interview many other people. I don't care. Cowboys do some dumb stuff, and it is what it is. But I will say I'm happy with the Mike McCarthy pickup. Hopefully, Mike McCarthy can deliver a Super Bowl like I think he can. His window is 3 years. He got 3 years to do it. I think he can. I believe that he can. And it's different whenever you got someone that's trying to prove to the world that another team was wrong about him, but more so he's trying to prove to himself that he's still that guy. And he still has that confidence that he could build a world championship. Again, he's been going back and forth with looking at tape, years of video, going back to his Kansas City days of everything that he's done in his past and how he can become a better coach. It says a lot. And I think once the Cowboys get on the field with him, we'll be able to see those results. Dak's game should improve. And we're going to see what they're going to do with Zeke. I'm not sure if he's going to be a main runner because Mike McCarthy doesn't run the ball like that. But I think with the Cowboys, there's going to be a fresh new approach to this team. And I'm ecstatic. I'm actually happy about the Dallas Cowboys for once going into a new season. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know. I'm going to respond to everybody. I promise you I'm going to respond to everybody. Until then, I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.